Okay, this question is basically tackling the idea of a monopolist who has a choice to price discriminate, and we also talk about a situation where the monopolist is not able to price discriminate. Okay, so let's read the question together. Okay, a theatre for stand-up comedies has two types of customers. There are those who may wish to watch the comedies at almost any price, although the number of visits depend on the price. And those who do not have good sense of humor and watches it only if the price was below a certain level. So the number of visits too depend on the price. The marginal cost is constant. Okay. So part A asks us to describe the demand facing the monopolist. Okay. So I can tell you that the demand curve is going to look like this. Okay. This is X. This is price. The demand curve is going to look like this. That's the demand facing the monopolist. Okay. How I know? Okay, now I'll tell you how. Alright, so first what we do, right, is we're going to break down the demand into two parts, which is one for type A customers, the other one for type B customers. Okay, so we know that for the type A customers, okay, they are willing to pay any price. Okay, as the question states, they are willing, okay, they will watch at almost any price, although the number of visits depend on the price. Okay, so let's break this down. Watch the comedies at almost any price. So what I'm trying to say is that at any price level, they are willing to pay. So if you're going to look at it at a extreme point, I pay any price, that means the demand will be constantly at somewhere around this level. Okay, so maybe the given demand is X naught. So there will be X naught amount of demand. Okay, but the thing is that if you go in and look at the bracket portion, it says that although the number of visits depends on the price. So what does it mean when we say depends on the price? That means the price and the demand is related. So can it be a straight line? Cannot. So it has to be a slope. But because the customers are willing to pay almost any price, that's why it's going to be near vertical. So that's why we have something like this. Okay, so what do we call this? What kind of demand is this? Inelastic. That's right, inelastic. Okay, so we already settled the demand for this bunch of guys. Okay, so now let's talk about the demand for the other bunch of guys. Okay. And by the way, this question is really very easy, okay? So the other bunch of guys who do not have a good sense of humor and watches it only at below a certain level, price level. Okay, so same thing. Let's make it extreme. So assuming that they will only watch it if it's below P naught. So if it's extreme that they will watch only at this price, so it'll be a straight line like that, right? Okay, but no. After that, it states that the number of visits too depend on the price. So what does it mean? This has to be a slanted thing. Okay, good. So that means it has to be a gradient. So it has to be somewhere near there, and we will just kind of make it a little bit slopey a little bit. Alright, so what is this? This is elastic. Okay, now can you see the difference? So now we're going to compare both of these demands together. Okay, so let me ask you something. If let's say I'm going to extend this price all the way up to this curve over here, so this is P naught. Okay, would I be serving to this bunch of customers or this bunch of customers? Okay, everybody must vote. Okay, now who says this? Okay, now who says this? Okay, unfortunately the answer is this. Okay, why? Because imagine if I were to charge at this price, P1, and if I draw one straight line, do you notice that this quantity here, X1, is going to be lesser than this quantity here, X2? Why? Because it's elastic. Remember, when the demand is elastic, a small change in price will cause a big change in quantity demanded. So that's why we will serve this part. So with this thought in mind, we're going to combine demand curves together, and we will be getting this. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a little bit nicely for you, okay, because now we're really going to be tackling on the question itself. This is X, this is P. Okay, so I'm going to draw the demand for the inelastic people. So we're going to go here, okay, and this is P naught. Okay, this is P naught. So this is where the elastic people come in. So that's why it's going to go this way. So this is the demand that is facing the monopolist. So we have really answered question A. Okay, so now let's add in the missing stuff. Alright, so usually what we do is we will talk about marginal revenue first, right? Okay, so now this is how we're going to draw marginal revenue. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a particular line down here. Okay, I'm going to call this X naught. Okay, because I know that whatever happens after X naught, I am actually serving my elastic people, the people that has got zero sense of humor. Okay, and the people on the left side, okay, we are serving those super N2 comedies kind of people. Okay, so now we're gonna add the marginal revenue. Okay, so nothing fanciful. For our this part of the demand is gonna be very normal like that. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Why? Because this is where my demand curve has changed. So let me ask you a question. Okay, should I draw my demand curve starting from here or somewhere else? Okay, so if you think that we're gonna start from here, okay, now I'm gonna tell you why it's not there. Because we have to start from the y-axis. You look at this marginal revenue curve. It starts from the y-axis, right? So this has to start from the y-axis as well, so it cannot start here. The y-axis is here, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take our ruler, extend it all the way to the y-axis, and we'll pivot along the y-axis to make sure that it is, how many times steeper? 2 times steeper. Okay, so approximately somewhere here, and then I'm going to draw my marginal revenue curve, just like that. Okay, so now we really got 2 parts already. We've got the demand curve out, and we got the marginal revenue out. Now, if you look at the bottom of the statement, okay, the part where it says that the marginal cost for running the theater is constant. So what does it mean? That means the MC curve is a straight line. Okay, so let's anticipate. Okay, you read question B. How would the monopolist decide on how to price a visit if he could distinguish between the 2 types of consumers? Okay, so if in knowing this, think about where the monopolist will produce. The monopolist will produce at what? MR equals to MC. So I got 2 MR curves over here. So that means I got to make sure that my MC curve is gonna hit both MR curves. So how am I gonna do that? Because the reason why we want to hit both MR curves is because we want to be able to analyze the monopolist, having to make the decision, if he can, how much he should price for which kind of consumer and whatsoever lah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our straight line and we're gonna draw it straight through the 2 marginal revenue curves. So I'm going to draw one straight line over here, and that is my MC curve. Okay, so as you can see, there are 2 points of equilibrium. There is one over here, okay, whereby I can produce this much. I can produce X1 or I can produce X2. Right, so I've also answered question B. So how would the monopolist decide on how to price the visit if he could distinguish between the 2 types of customers? So, I think sometimes the language is really damn cock up. Want to say discriminate, then just say discriminate. Why must you use the word distinguish, right? Okay, so let's rephrase this. If he could discriminate between the 2 types of consumers, so how to price? Very simple. If let's say we are going to discriminate, okay, and we're going to charge only the inelastic people, the sell-on, super N2 on comedies people, so we do what we normally do, right? From this point, we will bring the point up to the demand curve, and then we will bring it horizontally to the left side, and we will have P1. So we will charge the type A customers P1. So what about the elastic people, the no sense of humor people? Same from here, bring it up, okay, bring it to the left side again. That is P2. Okay, if you still don't understand this, okay, just let me show you this normal graph. Okay, no king. This demand curve. This is MR. Okay, this is MC. So this is the point where the monopolist will produce, right? MR equals to MC, right? So you bring the thing up, you bring it to the left, then you got a price. Okay, so that is how we came out with these 2 points. Now, so that's the answer for question B. Alright, moving on to question C. Okay, how would your answer change if the monopolist cannot discriminate between them? Now, this is where we need to use the idea of area of loss, area of gain. Okay, so now because I think this graph is a little bit too messy, let me redraw it for you so that you can see it in a better perspective. And I will use ruler. I should have just drawn it neatly in the beginning, right? Okay, but hope you don't mind lah. It's already 1:30 in the morning. Okay, so we have the demand curve going down like this, and like this. Okay, so I'm gonna have this thing over here. This is X0. Okay, now I'm gonna draw my marginal revenue. I'm gonna come down here. Alright, I'm gonna rotate this way. I'm gonna draw it like this. MR. Okay, so next thing, marginal cost curve. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I draw it through these two MR curves. Right, so that's my MC. Right, all the notations, yeah, you gotta put C0. That's representing the MC. Okay, so now the monopolist cannot price discriminate. So he has got two choices. He can either produce X1 and charge P0. Okay, that time we use P1, right? So we'll stick to P1. Charge P1 to type A customers, or he can produce X2 and charge the price P2 to type B customers. So just let me write it down for you. Alright, to type A customers, okay, charge at price P1 and produce at quantity X1. Okay, and what we're gonna do for the other side, for type B customers, we're gonna charge them at P2 and we're gonna produce at X2. Okay, so now he's got these two options. So how are we going to decide whether you should go for option A or option B? Now, that is where we look at the area of loss, area of gain. Okay, so what is the area of gain? Okay, I'm going to use green to show you what is the area of gain. Okay, the area of gain is anywhere that is in between MR and MC, with the MR being on top. Why? Revenue on top of cost, that means it's positive revenue, right? So look at this red line over here. This is the MR curve, right? And this is the MC. So we got one over here. So this is my area of gain, right? And where is my area of loss? It is where my MC is below my MR. Okay, so this is my area of loss over here, right here. You see, MC, MR. So whenever MC is on top of MR, it is a area of loss. Okay, and the other way around, if the MR is on top of the MC, it is an area of gain. Alright, so now very simple. To decide whether to go for A or B, okay, what we'll do is this. If the area of loss, the area of gain is larger than the area of loss, okay, what we are going to do is we are going to charge at P2. Okay, and we will produce okay, from X1 to X2, alright, for customers type B. Okay, and the remainder, okay, 0 to X1 will be for A. So charging at P2. Okay, so that is if the area of gain is bigger than the area of loss. But what if it's the other way around? Okay, what if the area of loss is bigger than the area of gain? So I mean, if I'm not gaining anything, if I'm going to be losing more, then why should I even venture into the other market? So this answer is very simple. It's just basically charge at P1, produce X1, and cater to market A. That's all. So we have answered questions A, B, C. I'm not going to go through part D because I think this is pretty simple. Okay, this one is something that you all can read out yourselves. Okay, so this is the standard way of tackling a question for monopolists deciding whether to price discriminate or not. In the exam, when you see these kind of questions, I think it's a easy question to score marks on, so you should attempt this one. Alright, thanks.